I invented this sleeping bag out of chip bags. But one of the biggest hassles and hurdles for me, I don't eat chips. I don't like chips.
Crazy.
I know. I was able to make my first sleeping bag, and I gave that out, tested it out. And from there, I gave it to someone who was unhoused. You see so many people who are unhoused that are sleeping outside every single winter, like roughly, I think 1,300 at that time. If you want to dream the impossible, build the impossible around it.
My working professionals, creators, entrepreneurs, I need y'all to tap in. Listen, if you're tired of fighting distractions at home or bouncing around from coffee shop to coffee shop, then Bamboo has exactly what you need to be able to lock in and get your work done. In addition to having flexible meeting rooms and event space, they've got a community that actually supports you while you're in the building. So if you're ready to lock in some space right now, guess what? I got you. If you head over to bamboocowork.com right now and use the promo code BlackFriday20, you'll get 20% off any of your rental bookings. Don't waste any more time. Head over to bamboocowork.com and take care of that. Use that promo code. I'll be seeing you at a Bamboo location sometime soon. Now, let's go ahead and get back into the episode. What up, though, Black Friday family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, need you to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones so that we keep this thing going. Now that I got that out of the way, we have a very special guest in the building, somebody who is not only a humanitarian, but is also being able to, not only making the world a better place and more sustainable, but is also a phenomenal humanitarian and person overall, Miss Erada. How you doing today?
Hi, what up, the fam bam?
What's going on?
Everything and everything.
Everything and nothing at the same time?
Oh, no, everything and everything at the same time.
Everything. Everything is a lot.
Everything is great. I think everything is, I don't want to get super philosophical, but everything is everything. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll keep it like that.
For sure.
I'll get too deep.
Well, grateful to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We got a chance to meet through our connection through Change Collective.
Yes.
Where we both are.
Shout out to Change Collective.
Shout out to Change Collective, 2026 fellows.
Okay,
so almost at the finish line.
Almost. Super excited about it.
Absolutely. By matter of fact, when this comes out, we may have completed it, or it might be like the day before our last day.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. Yay!
Yeah. So we're on our way. So grateful to have the connection. But I actually been following the chip bag project for years and like your story for a couple of years, and had no idea. Didn't put the person to. I was talking to you in Change Collective, and then when I found out about what you did, I'm like, that's the same person who been doing this dope work in the city for so long.
I'm so happy. Yeah, I love the podcast, listen to episodes, love all the guests you've had thus far. I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so honored that you have me here. Yeah,
absolutely.
Super honored.
Absolutely. You're doing very important work. And so before we get into the Chip Bag Project and what you do as far as your philanthropy, in that regard, I want to be able to root the story in your duality of being from the motherland, from Nigeria, and then also being a diehard Detroit girly. So I want to first root the story and tell us what it was like, because I believe I heard that you grew up in Nigeria until about the age of 13 and then came over to the States. What was that upbringing like, living in Nigeria and having that firm foundation before you came over to the States? And when you got to the States, was it Detroit immediately or Michigan, or did you kind of move around before you landed in the city?
Yeah, first, love that. I love when people do research. I'm born in Lagos, Nigeria. I tell people all the time I'm a Nigerian Detroiter. One, because I'm Nigerian first, that's why I'm born. Like, Nigeria is one of those countries that it not only shapes you, but it shapes the way you think, the way you look at the world, like your hustle, your drive. And then in Detroit is like one of those places that you have to go out and get it. Like, you have to I say Detroit, everyone is a celebrity, like it's just kind of like one of those cities that reminds you that you are special. And being Nigerian is special within itself because, one, we're the largest group of Black people in the entire world. And also, like, we are in every single continent in the entire world, and we have so much hustle and we have so much drive. And when I came to Detroit, that's exactly what I saw. And I feel the most at home when I'm in the city. I moved to America when I was 13. I first lived in New York. And from New York, I moved to Texas, in Houston, Texas, to be specific. And then from there, I found my way to Detroit. And I've been here, I think it's going on, well, I graduated from Livonia High School. I know, I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. My parents, not me. And then from there, I went to Wayne State, and I've been in the city since 2014. I'm truly living here.
Mhm.
I've lived in every single part of the city. So I've moved from downtown to the east side. You know, shout out to Red Zone, Connor and Gratiot.
Uh-oh.
You feel me?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
real,
Ray, you really
you
was in the
know,
city.
really in
Yeah.
the city. And then I moved to the west side for Schoolcraft.
Stop playing.
And
Schoolcraft and what?
Greenfield.
That's my hood.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I try to tell people as much as possible, like I wasn't, too frou with how I wanted to live in the city. I really wanted to experience what the city is.
Yeah.
And to be able to say that I'm a Detroiter is something that I didn't want to say passively. I want to say I actually lived, worked within the city grounds too as well.
Mm.
And I've been here. I love it here. I am always getting called to leave the city, but there's something about this place that is deeply rooted into who I am as a person. And again, I feel the most connected to who I am deep down inside in Detroit. And I've had the pleasure of going back to Nigeria, living there for about a year.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, this is amazing. This is great. But, where the buffs at? Like, you feel me? Like, I need a coney. Like, and it's really, really interesting to go back home as an adult and see what that experience was like, being around those people, eating the food, hearing the music. If you ever have the ability, the privilege, and it's a privilege to be able to go to Nigeria and experience Lagos nightlife and experience Lagos day life.
I heard it's fire.
Whew, baby. I would just say it was a night. Me and my friend took me to a random wedding. And from the wedding, we went to a party. It's like 3:00 and we're going to another party. And it's like 5 a.m. We're going to another. And I'm like, we're leaving the club while people were just coming in at 7:00 in the morning. I'm just like, so we don't got jobs? Like, we don't got things we got to do? Okay, cool. The party goes on. It's one of those cities that's just it's very busy.
Yeah.
But it's busy in a way that is deeply rooted in joy. And it's deeply rooted in self-identity and self-actualization and hustle and grind. And then when you come to Detroit, you see the same thing, whether it's people hustling on the sidewalks or, you see art every single place. You see people just being able to connect within food, culture, fashion. Like, this city and Nigeria are not opposite in whatsoever. They are so deeply connected in ways that I don't think a lot of people even know.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Thank you.
And I want to see if I can make a bridge and a correlation of what I'm going to ask you next, but I'm going to ask that question first. In terms of, so you're award-winning humanitarian through the Chip Bag Project. And if I'm correct, started in the pandemic when we was inside and you weren't trying to go outside because I grew up with asthma. You still deal with asthma? Okay, so you have asthma, so you weren't trying to be mixing and mingling. And so it was that's when the inception of the organization started. But could you tell us more about the Chip Bag Project and how you're out here bettering the world?
Yeah, so Chip Bag Project started because I used to be part of AmeriCorps, which is a national service organization. And with AmeriCorps, I was placed in an organization called EcoWorks Youth Energy Squad, where I was able to start green schools within different school programs in Detroit. And within the green school program, one of the things that we always wanted to do is place-based education. So making sure that we are doing civic action based on the environment that we're currently in, not the environment that we want to be in. So one of the things that I always did in my school was we did eco walks where we would figure out, we'll walk maybe like a mile around the school and figure out what are the environmental hazards and issues that are happening within this specific neighborhood, and how could we create a project with these young people that directly correlates and addresses these projects. And one of the things that we always worked with was plastic. And every single school, it never fails, my students would be like, Miss Erada, like, we doing all this thing with plastic waste. What are we going to do with the chip bags? And I used to be like, hey, when I was a kid, we used to make rings out of them and wallets out of them. Like, let's, do something crafty. And I remember when the pandemic hit and I decided to leave that organization because doing the work virtually it wasn't connecting for me, and it was feeling very draining. I sat down and I asked God, and I was like, God, I want to do something. My birthday's coming up. I'm about to be 25. I want to do something that feels not just like me, but I want to feel something that moves people in a way that feels authentic to who they are. I want to do something that bridges through all economic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, everything. I want a connector. And I promise you, me and God have a very tight connection. I'm very, very faith-based in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember probably like a day or two later, I was scrolling, as we were doing the pandemic, I was just scrolling on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this woman, I can't remember her name, but she was in England, and she was making blankets out of crisp packets, which are chip bags in England. And I was like, yo, that is dope. Like, she didn't really show how she was doing it, but I'm like, yo, I got to like figure that out. But being a place-based educator, now how do I take that blanket and make it into something that's very applicable to the environment that I'm currently living in, right? In Detroit, we know that it gets very cold, it's very wet. And also, we see so many people who are unhoused or are sleeping outside every single winter, like roughly, I think, 1,300 at that time. And the pandemic even made it worse, right? So I invented this sleeping bag out of chip bags. But one of the biggest hassles and hurdles for me, I don't eat chips. I don't like chips.
Crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
Look.
So you ain't opening a bag of Better Maids is what you trying to tell me.
What I'm telling you is you couldn't pay me to eat chips.
So it's just not your thing? Is it something that was your thing? You gave it up?
Nah, it's never been my thing. I just don't like snacks for real. Like, now, what you can get me in is I'm a plantain addict.
Okay.
If you go on my Instagram, I got a tattoo of plantains. Now I could do a plantain chip anytime, any day, anywhere.
Okay.
You feel me? But I didn't eat chips at all. And so I put out a call on Instagram and Facebook. I was like, guys, I'm a Facebook person. And I was like, guys, I want to do this project. I really need your chip bags. I think I put it up one day. People were like hitting me up. I got chips for you. I got chips for you. I put my number out there. Wrong idea. And people started calling me, and somebody was like, hey, I just bought a sandwich shop. And I walked into the sandwich shop, and there's all these bags of chips. They're all like expired, and I want to throw them away, but I would love to donate it to your project. So that's how I was able to get my first 1,500 bags. So I was like, okay, bet. We got it. Let's start figuring out how to make this sleeping bag. Again, no clue on how to do it. She didn't really show instructions. So I'm like, okay, there's going to be a lot of experimenting. Let's figure it out. I called my best friend. Shout out to Uncle Tay. And every time I have an idea, this little minor segue, I call Tay. Like, Tay is the person that I know that don't really matter what he's doing. If I got an idea, best friend is on it. You feel me?
Shout out to Tay.
Shout out to Tay. So Tay pulled up. My friend at the time, Brienne, pulled up too. And they were like, okay, let's
so
open.
You tapped in with the hooligans.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah. That's my fam bams. Like,
sure.
Locked in. And so everybody, pulled up, and we started opening all these bags of chips. My house smelled like Fritos and corn chips for weeks. And we opened them up. I'm like, okay, so what do I do next? I have to wash them. How do you wash them? I'm like, oh, non-degreaser soap. So we started the process of washing it. And then I had to now figure out, how do you melt this, or how do you bind this to make it into first the blanket, and then how do we now make this blanket into a sleeping bag? It took me a couple of weeks, but within that weeks, Channel 5 came to my house. CNN reached out to me. We had all these people reaching out to me. I had to make an Instagram, had to get a P.O. box, because I put my house address out there.
Yeah.
So I just had people sending me random things. So in the process of me trying to figure out how to make a sleeping bag, I was also receiving so many chip bags that it just became a movement during the pandemic. So many people around the world wanted to give back in a way. And this was something that everybody was sitting down and eating. Like, you were all eating chips. So it was a very easy ask to tell people, hey, bring this over to me. I had several drop-off locations. And I think before the end of December, which my birthday is December 29th, so it was like a birthday present to the city, I was able to make my first sleeping bag. And I gave that out. I gave it to someone. first I tried it out myself in very, 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 very cold and snowy weather. Tested it out. And from there, I gave it to someone who was unhoused. Me and him kept connections. I gave him my number. I'm like, hey, test this out for me. Let me know what you think. Give me your ideas. Let me know what's going on. And from there, we've been able to change the sleeping bag at least 3 times thus far, based off of trial and error and giving it out to people, having them test it out and letting me know what they think about it, what they want me to fix.
And are you like, what's the process to developing these bags? Like, are you in the lab with the sew machine? Like,
I'm in the lab
cooking it up?
Nah, so you got to think about it. So when you touch a chip bag, that printing layer is plastic. And the best way to fuse plastic together is to melt it. So we literally just melt a bunch of chip bags together to make one giant sheet. And from there, we combine it, and then we'll combine it. I'm trying to not give all my secrets away, but it's okay. I post all of this on Instagram. And then we worked with a couple of companies that gave us insulation for the inside to make it in cushions. And then from there, so our sleeping bag is 100% sustainable, made from recycled material, down to our insulation, down to the tape that we use, everything.
It's upcycling, what they call it, right?
Upcycled, yes. Yeah, that's the term.
Fire.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was curious to know if your foundation that you had growing up in Nigeria, and then even when you landed in Michigan and planted your flag here, how did that shape you to develop what the chip bag project became to be? Like, were you always someone looking to give back? It seems like it, based on what you said about giving out or looking to be able to find a way to give back for your birthday, and having that being a tradition for you. But like, even prior to that, like growing up, was that something that was a part of like your family makeup or your community?
Yeah, I think for me, I grew up very privileged is how I would describe it. Privileged for Nigerian standards. And my parents have always been people who just, like, my parents have the biggest heart. I've never met people like them in my entire life. And I pray to be just half the people that they are, because they've just opened our home to so many different people. And I've been able to, since my birthday is so close to Christmas, in Christmas time, we will just make so much food. And my mom would be like, okay, go give this out to, that person outside. Go give this out to this person. Give this out. So on my birthday, it would just be like, it's a tradition in Nigeria. Is like when you have a party, you don't send out invitations. Anyone that sees the party is just supposed to come, right?
Okay.
So that's the culture that I've grown up with, where all is welcome. And you're supposed to create and provide for any and everyone. A blasphemy in Nigerian culture is running out of food, right? And running out of things to give people, running out of space for them to be in. So you will budget for 1,000, knowing that maybe you have 20 people in your family, but you know that once one person tells one person tells one person. So I've grown up in that kind of a culture. But when I came to America, I had this idea and this mentality that this was a land of milk and honey. Like, I would see no poverty. I would see no suffering when I came to this country. So imagine me coming out from LaGuardia Airport and being hit with the craziest smell.
Woo! Don't get me started on that.
The smell was crazy, okay? And then also just my uncle driving us around, and I'm seeing people who are unhoused outside.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. I felt like my whole world, and I told my mom, I was like, why is that person sitting there? Why is that? Mom was like, oh, my mom was, I don't think my mom was confused. My uncle was like, yeah, these people are, and he used the word homeless. And I try not to use that language too, because before I even, words have power, right?
Yeah.
And when we blanket people who are going through economic situations like that, that doesn't provide them with the adequate need that they actually have. So even though it's a long word, I say nomadic or displaced, like most of the time, because you have people who are choosing to be outside and you have people who are displaced from their original home.
Right.
Right. So my uncle was like, yeah, these people are homeless. I'm like, in America? In America.
Right.
And when I lived in Houston, I lived through Hurricane Katrina, when so many people were coming from New Orleans to live in Houston. And we had so many people in our school that didn't have clothes, that didn't have food, didn't have anything. So I remember my teachers used to be like, if you guys have any extra clothes, any extra things. And I was telling y'all earlier, I love clothes. So I used to just bring all my clothes, like clothes with tags on, whatever. So I've always been this kind of person that feels, I won't say the word is guilt, but I feel this burden of sharing what I have. And I feel it as a responsibility of being a human being is to do as much as I can to help my next fellow man, regardless of the inconvenience of it. And so that's just how I've always grown up. And every year for my birthday, whether it's me going outside in the middle of the night and passing out food, buying hotels for people, paying a lot of people's school fees back home, making sure that I'm always of service, because what I don't give, God will take away.
That's love right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a pause in the action to introduce my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays.
Okay, period.
So we got an audience here. Shout out to my interns, Farron and Jasmine, that's helping us out today. So since we got an audience, you might as well just give us some bars. You might as well start freestyling. Yeah. Just just start rapping. However many.
Oh my gosh.
We'll take 4, 6, 8, whatever you got.
Freestyle. Okay. So I'm a poet. I would do poetry.
Okay, yeah. If you got a poem, we take a poem.
Yeah, I got a poem. I would do my intro. So my name is Erada, not erotic, not erotica. Please do not over-sexualize me with your words. I am not the object of your affection. I am a queen, no crown either. When I walk in the room, all eyes stop and stare, because I have that queen glow, that cool shine. So welcome to a little piece about moi.
Mixtape coming soon.
You
Make sure
feel me?
Tap in poetry mixtape dropping.
You feel me?
Dropping December 26th.
You know what I'm saying?
So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing some poetry
course.
with us. And if you don't mind, I'll just ask you a few questions, rapid fire questions, since you gave us some of your artistry.
Let's get it.
All right. So first, I gotta ask you, what would you say is the most Nigerian thing about you?
Everything. The way I talk, my mannerisms, the way I cook. Yeah, I throw down.
Okay.
Yeah, I throw down. And also music.
For sure.
Yeah.
Put us up on who would you say is your top 3 Afrobeats, or just any music of the diaspora
that I listen
that
to.
you listen to.
My number 1 is always going to be Eradajere Oleita. If you listen to any, I always talk about him. I just think he's a phenomenal, just musicality. Like, he's just amazing. So yeah, Eradajere Oleita is my number 1. I love piano music. Despite the issues right now happening in South Africa with Nigerians, I'm still a huge fan of piano music, and I love it. TNC is a great like introduction to it, but also like very. I have a piano playlist on Apple Music called Piano to the World. If you want to listen to it, it's I think close to like 100+ hours of straight piano music, like way to my soul, way to my heart. And third, because let me see. This is actually very hard. I think I'll say Adekunle's wife, Simi. Simi is amazing. Simi's voice is, and then I also love Fela. Like, Fela is very old school, Afro beat. There's a difference between Afro beats and Afro beat. He's the father of Afro beat, and his music is earth shaking. Yeah.
So you gave me some new people to tap in with for some new sounds.
Tap.
I'm missing out. I'm missing out. I'm thinking I'm doing something listening to Burna Boy. That's the intro.
Burna Boy is cool. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Love Burna, but
that's just the tester.
That's just a tester. You know, like if you really want to get into it's like someone says, I want to listen to, real Detroit music, and the first thing you say is Skilla Baby. Nothing wrong with
yes, still.
Nothing.
But he'd probably become more commercial.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a different, like, I will always go, Doughboy Cash Out. Like, you got to listen good,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right,
you feel me? So it's kind of like that. That's how I kind of describe how Afro beats is right now.
For sure. And then family, friends, community back home in Nigeria or Lagos, they come to Detroit. you got 24 hours to show them around, get them the full Detroit experience. What you doing with them?
First thing we're doing, I take everyone to Belle Isle. Like, gotta do Belle Isle for at least like an hour. You know, either we're riding our bike or walking around. I'm showing you Belle Isle. That's the first thing. And next, let me see. Food wise, I really love Babel Fair. That's one of my favorite places. Shout out to Mamba and Nadia. That's one of my favorite places in the city.
When I tell you, me and my wife go there like
religiously
2-3 times a month. Yeah, like
that's my family. Like, love them down. Cannot wait for the new location coming to Eastern Market very soon. And next up, we'll definitely go to Illinois, go in the Fashion District. Got to see history there. Then we'll, depending on if my family's real bougie, right, we'll come downtown. We'll do some steak restaurants, you know, the new little free ones. Yeah. If they really want to experience something they've never experienced before, I'll take them to a Coney. I'm not gonna tell you which one because I'm not getting into it. I refuse.
Let's do it. Let's humor us.
I cannot humor because I'm going to be humored myself. Because one time I said I like El George, right?
Okay.
And somebody was like, "You like El George? Which one?" I was like, "Joy Road. That's not bad."
So here's the thing. I thought they all was the same too because I go to the one on Plymouth and Evergreen.
Okay.
People are like, no, you got to go on 6 Mile. You need to go on 6 Mile. I'm
literally,
like, relax.
I'm like, okay,
I'm like,
6 Mile, Brick Mile. Coney. It's Coney. Like, to me, not all Conies are made alike, but you feel me? Like, you know, I'm still go to the bathroom afterwards. So like, it really don't matter to me personally. But please don't come for me. And then after that, we'll definitely let's see what else. I like Northern Lights right now is making a resurgence, coming back. I also take them to Motown, so they can see that because that's, you know, that's a piece of history. We'll also go to Artist Village on the west side, because that's, to me, is another piece of history that is not talked about enough in the city. And then I will just do like a nice tour. Shopping wise, we'll have to hit up the Lip Bar. Love the Lip Bar, because, you know, makeup and what's not. I'm trying to think. I'll take them to a Hooligan Studio because, you know, my people. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to all of them. And trying to think what else. We'll go to the Riverwalk, of course. Yeah, you know. I'll do like all the little quintessential things that I feel like very touristy. And I want Detroit to have better nightlife. That is one of my dreams. Shout out to New Dawn. They're, you know, young boys that just started up doing really great things in nightlife. But we need more nightlife in the city. Like,
I agree.
It's missing.
And for different brackets too, like where you at in life and what you trying to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Get a YNs, they space. Get a ONs, they space.
Get the YNs, their own space. I'm too old to be partying with the 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds. You feel me? Yeah, I'm definitely need to be with my over 30s. You know, where we can be, you know, grown and sexy or something. So definitely, like, we need more nightlife in the city. Even though, you know, Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and I stay in the church. I stay in my church, honestly, all the time. I still do believe that duality is necessary, and we do need to have spaces where people can just experience joy uninhibited, like where you can dance till 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can feel dance and not dance like no one's watching. You can feel sweat come down your body. Like, Jidden is great. I love Detroit house music. But having more spaces to be able to experience that in this city is definitely needed.
1000%. And last but not least, I got to get the Coney order. What's the Coney order?
Definitely come in chili cheese fries, sliced, not squeezed.
There you go.
That's just me. With a chili cheese dog. Now, I love me a Coney breakfast. Okay. So now my breakfast order.
Talk to you.
I'm do a French toast. You feel me? And what I will ask with the French toast, I want the butter melted. You know, the butter they put on the thing, I want it extra melted on the French toast. You feel me? With the syrup, warm it up a little bit so it's a little warm. Then I want my eggs, and I want my. I'm a sunny side up girl, but for Coney, I definitely want my eggs scrambled, soft, with a little bit of cheese, sliced cheese, sliced American.
Mm-hmm.
And then give me some wheat toast, put some hash browns in that bad boy. Yeah, and I think,
Good to go.
I'm good. I'm straight. And then some sausages. Yeah.
There you
And
go.
I'm straight.
The Coney breakfast is undefeated.
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 Your stomach's gonna be defeated, but
Absolutely.
but it's undefeated. It'll get you where you need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for partaking in Freestyle Fridays.
Of
Definitely
course. Thank you.
appreciate it. And so now wanted to get back into your journey in terms of the chip bag project and how you are not only being able to like provide a physical solution to a larger scale problem, but being able to do it in your own way. I just wanted to be able to understand, as a founder of an organization of such magnitude, been doing it for, is it 6 years this year?
Oh, yeah.
Or five or 6 years?
We're going to be 6 years this year.
Okay.
Wow.
And doing it for 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what your journey has been like along the way, because when I was listening to the story about Chip Bag Project started in the pandemic, I think about parallel it to my own journey. This podcast started in the pandemic on Instagram Live, and it's grown into like what it is now, and us being able to have this conversation right now. So love to hear like what has been your pathway since starting that journey and the things that you've learned along the way.
One of the things with Chip Bag Project, it's a story of resilience and growth, and it's also a story of immense confusion. When we started in the pandemic, we started with a goal of only existing for 6 months. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this for 6 months. We'll, knock out 160 bags or 60 bags and we'll be done and call it quits. We're 6 years in. So it was something that from inception, if I knew that I wanted it to grow larger, there were so many things that I would have done differently in the beginning. And there were so many structural things I would have done in the beginning that I wish, coulda, woulda, woulda. Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's the thing. But we started off in the pandemic with this goal of only existing. And then I think 6 months into it, we had £1 million collected from all around the world. So we collect as far as Singapore. And I did not, for the life of me, think it would be this. And I think that's the story for so many people who are founders who have something that's very special, like Chip Bag Project is. You never planned for the success, but you also never planned for the things that you never planned for. And I did not know what I needed to do structurally to make this a sustainable venture for myself. So I'm very honest with where Chip Bag Project is. Like right now, we're like, I would say barely in operation. One, because I've had to take off the last year to just stop everything and restructure. Because what I realized, at first we got our nonprofit status last year. Shout out to Jared Epps, which is now my co-director.
Yep.
We got our thing last year. Did not realize that I needed to become a nonprofit. Didn't really want to be a nonprofit. I was like, I don't want the ties of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very intentional thing to become a nonprofit, because I realized that if I was to become a for-profit, the goal of one day eradicating chip bags from existing in the capacity they exist in would never be accomplished, because so much of our existence, our livelihood, would be tied to this product, right? One of the things that I realized with a lot of people who start nonprofits is that their whole existence is so tied to the problem that the solution keeps running away from them. And when you are in this space where you're running away from a solution, but saying and screaming on top of a hill that you're finding a solution, you become a contradiction in yourself. And I've never wanted Chip Bag Project to be a contradiction. So when we started with this goal. We got to £1 million. I was like, okay. I was like, God, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but I need direction. And that was about year 2, because we were just going. I was doing interviews. I have so many interviews, so many documentaries, so many awards, that I started to have an ego complex, right? I was like, oh, I'm that girl. Like, what? I invented something. Who can tell me anything? And then I remember I was like, dang, I ain't got no money. I'm self-funding this. This is literally all me, right? And I did not realize that I was creating a monster within itself, not for the organization of myself, because I thought I knew it all. I thought I was like, because I invented this thing, I was the only person who can run it. And I remember when God humbled me in a way that is still painful to talk about. And I had to sit down and say, my ego is killing my organization. And that was year 3. And in year 3, I sat down with my friend Jared and I was like, Jared, I'm begging you. I need you. I know you have never done this before. You're an engineer. You have never done this world before. But for some reason, every single time I pray, your face and your name keeps coming up. And I don't know how I'm supposed to have you be part of us, but I need you here because I'm killing this. And when he joined Chip Bag Project, we were now about close to 2 million pounds collected. What do you do with 2 million pounds as one person? Like, if you've ever touched a chip bag before, it's light as a feather. So imagine what 2 million pounds weight-wise looks like and feels like, right? I was surrounded in chip bags. Again, this person, I would probably never eat chips again because of this thing, right? You can't even try to get me to do it because I'm like scarred almost, right? And when Jared came in, I was like, you have one go. I just need you for one go. Get all these chip bags out of here. Like, we got to figure out what to do with it. And a trash cannot be part of that. Like, we have to figure out what is the process of that. Year 5.5 now, this month, is where we've actually finally figured out what to do with our chip bags, which is sell it off to other people who can also do other things. Because what I was scared of was like, am I going to be a liar? Like, I told people I'm like collecting these chip bags and make sleeping bags. They entrusted me with all this stuff. I don't want to sell it off. I don't want to like throw it away. God, am I like losing my mission? And then I remember clear as day, I was in Nigeria when this happened to me. I'm like, God, I'm losing it. God was like, oh, you lost it when you lost yourself. It was really, really clear, right? And I had been applying for this program with the state of Michigan for about 3 years, and I kept on getting denied. And I said to God, I was like, okay, if you remove everything in my path right now that is stopping me from being who I'm supposed to be, I will give you everything, all of me. Literally lost everything the next day. Money, everything. But I got into that program. They called me personally. I was Nigerian. I was like screaming in the middle of the night. I was like, okay, oh my God, this is so great, God. And I got into this program, and me and Jared got into the program. I had to fly from Nigeria and come back to America to do this. And that's where we are right now, where we have figured out how to make a business out of this, but make a business out of it and still keep it as a nonprofit. It's very, very, very difficult to do. But one of the goals of Chip Bag Project is to work ourselves out of existence very soon. So we have built, how I have built this new structure is that in a couple of years, by the grace of God, maybe in the next 20 years, 30 years, you will never see chip bags in your hood just floating around like a piece of tumbleweed, right? You will not see it on your shelves because aluminum is an amazing, Mylar is an amazing product, but it's constantly being misused because nobody thinks about the end life product of it. So we want to be that organization. So we've had to think about so many ways that chip bag could be. So now we are not only a collector, which we've had to stop because, again, 2.5 million pounds, too much. So we had to stop collecting. But we've started school programs. We start consulting. We've started to be kind of like a team building activity for companies. We've had to think about how can we make chip back into everything so that one, we can spread this gospel, but also it gives us an opportunity to keep our head above water financially. So to answer your question in so many words, but in a little bit of words, Chip Bag Project right now is everything and everything all at once.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it for you at being the founder and being who you are to ask for help and support? Like, are you the type of person like, look, I got this idea. It might be far-fetched, but I need you to roll with me? Or do your community see that you got that fire in your eye and then they jump in and roll with you?
Both.
Okay.
Like I told you, my best friend, been down with me, he's still here.
Mhm.
He's one of the one people that has been with me since the beginning that is still here. Like, I can call him, like, best friend, we got da-da-da-da. He like, I bet, I'll pull up.
Yeah.
So I have people in my life that do that for me, but I've also had to stop my ego to not. It's easy to ask for help. People think it's hard. It's easy to ask for help, but it's very difficult to accept help. I was asking everyone for help, and everyone's like, how do you need me to help? And I'll just be like, don't worry, I got it. I figured it out. So I had to like be in a season to receiving, and that from a scale of 1 to 10, it was incredibly difficult because I said, I know the anxiety I'm feeling. Like, I couldn't sleep.
Mhm.
Like, I could not sleep. I lost so much weight. When I go back and look at pictures of myself, everyone was like, oh my God, Erada, like, you're so fit. I was like, guys, I am not eating. I am not sleeping. I am literally dying. Like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. So I had to realize that I had to receive the help that I was asking for too as well. So it was very difficult for me. And it still is very difficult for me because I don't want to put the burden that I'm feeling on other people. And I just pray that I would get to a place that I can be the kind of leader that I dream about.
And what was it like, or what is it like now having a team to be able to like work with and support the mission? Because they say being a leader, like, you don't always get, everybody might not buy in as much as you because it's your baby, it's your vision. But even getting people, if you can get somebody close to where you are, like you hit a home run. So like, what has that been like, being able to have a team to support you now?
Yeah, I have a team that supports me. I'm still looking for the person that is as close to who I am or even better. But I know it will come. But the people that I have believe in me, right? And that's all I care about right now. And it feels really good. And again, but I'm still in that season where I have to let them shine and let them come in and do what they're supposed to do. And we're still, shout out to Olivia person, like Olivia, I love you so much. I tell you that all the time, but I love you so much. Because she has just like hopped in,
Mhm.
hopped in and been part of the team and in the ebbs and flows of life. Shout out to all my board members. Shout out to Dr. Sarita Darby for being my voice and sounding board for all of my ideas. All these people that I've mentioned are people who did not have to be part of this, but are part of this right now because it's very necessary for me to have that help. And yeah, I'll stop right there.
I was gonna say, I wish I would have known sooner that you was all taking chip bag donations. Me and chips as I eat, I could have probably gave you the 2 million pounds myself.
I don't need them figures. Yeah, we're still figuring out. One day we'll open back up. I hopefully once we get rid of this our inventory right now, we want to start collecting. But collecting with infrastructure, not just collecting like
just to have it
yeah,
on deck.
yeah. We got too much.
How many people have you all been able to support so far through the chip bag project?
Thousands. So what we do is not just chip bags. So every winter we do something called our warm kit drive, where we pass out hot food, we create warming zones, we give people blankets, hotel rooms, socks, whatever. So we've been able to help thousands with just like all the initiatives that we do. With our sleeping bags, I'm more, what's the word? I'm more guarded with how I give those out because I want to feel very comfortable with giving out the product. I want to be able to try it out. Like right now we're in irradiation of it that I want it to be something that's more transportable and more what's the word I'm thinking of? I can't think of the word, but like I want it to be something that people can put things into and like open up and do
Yeah,
other things. So
like multifaceted.
yeah, multifaceted. I want it to be something like that. So we're still figuring out how to, but hopefully by the end of 2027, by the grace of God and a lot of creativity, we should be able to say like we've given out hundreds of chip bags this year. And I pray we get there.
You actually dive into the world of business consulting and you work with different businesses, organizations, and being able to help them with their business and their brand. So I would love to learn more about that. And how did you start doing that type of work?
I'm loud and I'm also very observant. So like I'm I think I was telling you earlier, I love shooting my shot at people. Like, that's one of my favorite things, is going into people's DMs or just telling someone like, hey, I want to help you do something. And I feel like that's why I'm in this world, is to be of service. And I saw so many businesses that I'm like, yo, you could be doing this and this and this and this and this and this. So I started to just like shoot my shot at people, and they were like, oh, can I? But I don't shoot my shot for free. Like, I shoot my shot, but you gonna pay me. You feel
Okay.
me? Because one thing I've realized is my intellectual property is worth something. As I think, as a creative and as a Black woman, at times I felt that because I want to be a helper, I put myself as a disservice in helping people. But I had someone sit there and tell me, like, how do you know all the things that you know? I was like, research, doing this. Like, oh, so you took time out. I was like, yeah, like, so that time, what could you have been doing? I'm like, probably working, making money. So you lost money to learn about this knowledge that you're giving out for free. There's nothing wrong with helping the community, but at the same time, you have to also know that an empty cup cannot feed anybody else. So in business consulting, I really just saw businesses that needed help. And I also worked for a consulting firm, a marketing firm at one point too as well. And I was just like, how I got that job was, I was like, hey, I've seen your client portfolio and who you've been working with, and these are the ways that I think I can come in and help improve the businesses that you're working with. I've sent out rough drafts to people. People pay me to audit their businesses, like what is going wrong and what's not going wrong. I really need to push that more too as well, because I get clients sometimes and I'm like, how did you find me? I don't advertise this. But word of mouth, because I honestly am really good at what I do. Because I have such an observant spirit, I've also done a lot of stuff in psychology. I'm able to know the psychology of why people do the things that they do, and also how humans would interact with what you're putting out there. So for businesses, and I predominantly work with Black businesses and small Black businesses, I try to make sure that I'm doing it in a way, in a capacity that is helpful, not harmful. There are so many people that give advice with no leeway on how to get there. So how I do my consulting is, I'm going to audit you, tell you the things that need to be improved. And from there, I'll give you a step-by-step plan to make this better. We'll work within a 6-month plan, because it does take a while to actually see the results of whatever you're working in. Then we come back again in that 6 months, and we're able to see the things that are working. I've also done a little bit of how will I say, company culture. So I was like a culture auditor. So I'll come into companies and we'll do grievance circles, and we'll figure out what are the things that are now working culture wise, and how is that actually affecting the output of the products that you're doing. And I've been doing that on and off now for over 10 years, and I've made a nice amount of money from it. There was a whole year that I was like, dang, wow, a bag. Yeah.
For sure. And what's some things that you noticed that even in your work with Chip Bad Project or any other experiences that you had and in business consulting, that these, especially in our community, Black organizations, Black businesses, that they are getting wrong in terms of their approach to business? Because I always think about how people can be proficient in the thing that they've built the business around, but may not necessarily always have the business acumen. So like, what are some things that you noticed that they typically approach the wrong way to start with?
Yeah, one of the first things I've noticed that people do really wrong is they don't think about the end plan or the end game of whatever they're working in. Even if you have a restaurant, what will happen if your restaurant fails, and what will make your restaurant fail, and work backwards. There are a lot of people that only look at that, oh my God, I'm so successful right now, I've sold 5 products. But how do you get 5 to 5,000? How do you get 5,000 to 5 million? Like, what is that actual goal, and how do you get there? And there's some people that don't write things down. I am one of those people with my business, but I advise people to write every single thing down. Like, whether it's you're doing a voice note or whatever, but you need to be able to have a plan on how you're getting from point A to point B, because it's very easy to just keep moving. Let's say, for example, right, with your podcast, I'm pretty sure you wrote things down. After a while, you said, I want these kind of guests. I want this kind of direction. I want this. But what I noticed with our community is that we are only thinking of the people in our immediate vicinity and not thinking about all the other people outside of our vicinity. And we get into this culture of, oh, my people are not, my friends not supporting me. I don't market to my friends. Chip Back Project has never been marketed to any of my friends. Like, I think for a very long time, none of my friends ever even came to our volunteer events. Or, I don't market to them.
Mm.
I'm marketing to people outside of them because that's how you create something that's sustainable, right? If you're only marketing to the people in your close vicinity with people who are like 1 degree separated from you, you're not going to be sustainable. And also, I tell people to imagine realistically. A lot of us dream and imagine these worlds that don't really exist or will never exist because we don't have the systems to build that. So if you want to dream the impossible, build the impossible around it, but build it in a way that feels realistic. And those are the issues that I see predominantly in our community. Is like people are like, yeah, I can't wait. I know, I sold 5 shirts. I'm gonna get to 1 million tomorrow. It's like, do you have the inventory?
Right.
You doing pre-orders and selling your shirts because you're like, I want to make it affordable for $20. I'm doing this $20 shirt,
but it costs you $25 to make.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we did a couple of years ago, we launched a chip back tote bag. It was $100. Nobody in my immediate vicinity was ever going to afford a $100 tote bag made out of plastic waste. I wasn't marketing to them. I was marketing to people outside of and I was able to sell 4 of them, right? Everyone was like, just put it at $25, put it at $25, put it at $25. I was like, $25? Do you know how long it would take me to make $400? But I sold 4. That's all I really needed was to make. I just needed to test the waters to see if I could get a couple of people to bite. And then from there, we're able to now say, okay, how do we scale this out? Yeah.
Facts. I love it. I love it. So please tell us what's on the horizon for you for the Chip Bag Project. If you got any cool things that you're working on or consulting, please let us know, like what's in your crystal ball or things that you see and want to see in the fruition.
Yeah, I want to do more sustainable consulting. So I want to let me audit your business. Please let me audit your business. I'm not talking about your financials. I'm not trying to be there. But I really want to audit people's businesses and just show them ways they can make it better. Another thing that I am working on for Chip Bag Project, where we really want to grow the next generation of green leaders, and we want to do it in a way that is responsible, sustainable, and also we're guiding people, not just releasing them, doing like a catch and release, right? And so we have our school program. We have tested it out already in a couple of schools. Teachers help us write this. So this is not just something that, I sat down and I wrote it myself, but I took it to some teachers. I'm like, hey, does this make sense? So that's our goal is to have the school program. And next year, we're going to be having a really big Earth Day event for Earth Week, where it's going to be just multiple days of community engagement in so many different ways. So we're really, really excited about that. I graduate next year, and I'm really excited about that too as well. And I'll have my degree in sustainability because what I realize is there's not that many of us that look like me that are in corporate sustainability, and not just from talking about it in environmental justice. Like, we're a lot of us in environmental justice, but not a lot of us in the corporate side of what it means to be sustainable. And not only do I want to be a leader in sustainability, I wanted to be a voice of action in sustainability. And I want to be able to do ESG audits. And when all these people are using fancy words around me, I want to be like, yeah, I know what that means. I can explain it to you. I got it. I peeped what you put down. So that's where we're going into, and that's where I'm personally going into. Again, let me audit your business. 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 I just love doing that. I love helping people grow. And I have a lot of successful clients and businesses. I'm not going to shout them out, but y'all know who you are. if you see this and you want to tell people about the work I've done for you, please do. But I love doing that work.
Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of free game, a lot of wisdom shared. So Professor Erada, can you tell us where the people can tap in with you?
Oh my God, Professor Erada. I might like the sound of that. That might be my new little life.
Hey, come on now.
Yeah, my Instagram is Erada34. That's and Chipback Project is Chipback Project on all social platforms. Our social platforms are going to be getting a nice rebranding, so please stay tuned for that. And our website is also chipbackproject.org, and you can find us everywhere.
Dope. And as I mentioned at the top of the interview, I've been following the work for the last few years, and it's great to finally put the person with the work and then getting the story behind it and the journey. And just appreciate your transparency in terms of your journey, your business, not only on this platform, but other platforms, and just being able to provide a pathway to help us live a more sustainable life, be more sustainable community, and putting us in positions to win. So appreciate you coming on the podcast.
I would say my last thing too, if you have plastic water bottles and you use plastic water bottles, before you recycle them, take the top off and take the plastic wrapping off before you put them in the recycling bin. Just a little pro tip.
Thank you, because I've been recycling wrong for it.
A lot of people do. Yeah. A lot of people do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Appreciate that tidbit. Appreciate you pulling up on the podcast.
Of course. What up, Doe, Detroit? It's nice talking to y'all.
What up, Doe? And everybody watching and listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.
Peace.